This is the Patriots Pregame Show, presented by Dunkin.
Looks down the middle, throws it, caught by Henry at the 2, fights away from a tackler, and runs to the end zone, and spikes it for a Patriots touchdown!
The Patriots Pregame Show is the world's largest virtual tailgate, featuring fans of the 6-time Super Bowl champion New England Patriots.
Fires down the middle for Gordon, reaches up, extends, lands in the end zone, between two defenders, touchdown, Patriots!
Hardy, Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo, and Tamara Brown are here to do the grilling as your hosts. This week, the Patriots are on the road against the Green Bay Packers.
James White cuts it under the right arm, cuts it upfield, driving forward, diving to the goal line! A touchdown! And a title for the Patriots!
I can't believe it!
Hardy, Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo, and Tamara Brown are here to get you ready for the game.
It's football time, fellas. Let's get into it.
Now, live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, Patriots Nation, welcome to the Patriots Pregame Show presented by Dunkin.
Uh-oh, I got a loose mic. All right, let me work on this, and let's get rolling here on this Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin. It's
be something you could have addressed before the show started.
I wasn't speaking into the microphone before the show started, Paul.
All right.
I don't know, Margot. Okay, well, we'll fix it during the break.
We'll get it in post.
I'll hold it up like this. Welcome into the Patriots Pregame Show. It's fueled by Dunkin. It's Hardy. It's Mike Dussault. It's Paul Perillo. It's the Patriots try and improve on their 1-2 record, try to move to 500 on the season, but they got a tough task ahead of them with the visit to Green Bay today.
Yeah, this is a tall task, obviously. Without Mac Jones, I think with Mac Jones, it would be a pretty tall task anyway. But, as Chris Berman said, that's why they play the games, Deuce.
Yeah, a little different Green Bay offense than we're used to seeing, but still, I think a dangerous one. Of course, anytime you have Aaron Rodgers, it's presents a number of problems for the defense, but defensively they're very good, and I think that they will challenge Brian Hoyer and whatever this kind of Patriots offense looks like today in a lot of ways.
Well, if they're going to win, they're going to need our keys to the game. So let's roll right into it here, shall we?
Let's go.
Why did you leave the keys up on the table? You wanted to.
You've waited all week for it.
The whole team's in the locker room right now just listening to this, waiting to hear what you're going to say.
Without these keys, the Patriots are destined and doomed to fail.
Here are Hardy, Paul, Mike, and Tamara's keys to the game.
Why did I steal your key to the game also? You have the key to the game. You have the right one.
Keys to the game. Without these keys, Patriots are doomed, destined to fail. So I'm sure they're listening to us. They're in Green Bay right now. Keys to the game. Tamara should be with us. But you want someone to do Tamara's key for her?
Well, it's kind of ironic. Her key is be present.
She's not.
She's not present right now.
Oh, my God.
Running a little late, coming in hot. So I don't know. She's not following her own key. So
that's ironical.
That's
ironical.
Tamara,
what do you think it means, though? We could speculate. What does be present? Like be in the moment, take advantage of.
It's very Zen-like.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, moving
Paul,
on.
go ahead.
Moving on.
Yeah,
Paul.
it's like I said, tall task today. So
Okay.
I think you need some help. Is that fair to say? I think you need some help. I think if Green Bay plays a really clean game, you're probably going to have a hard time pulling off an upset. But if you get a little help and you get some maybe some turnovers, find some free points, maybe a play in special teams,
Love it.
Block a punt, have a long return, set up a short field. I think they need to find some free points today in order to pull off this upset.
Yeah, and it's difficult to say, that's going to be one of the things we're focusing on today. But if you're talking about a key to victory, I think you're right, Paul. They're going to have to be gifted, some points out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
just have to be
help.
gifted. Why
Just
can't
a little
they
help.
go and
Yeah,
take it?
absolutely.
Why can't
Little
they
help.
just go take it?
You return a punt for a touchdown. It's not necessarily a gift. Absolutely, Deuce. I'm just saying, find some free points. I think it's
If they're
hard
free,
to imagine.
it sounds like a gift. It feels
Well,
like
it's
a gift.
points that your offense didn't earn. That's why I'm saying free points. Like last week.
Oh, really?
Last week, the Ravens drove the length of the field 4 times. To score, to get up into the high 30s. I don't think the Patriots are going to be able to do that today. So I think find some free points.
Okay, normally we would not interrupt the keys to the game, but Tamara Brown is on the line. She's very upset with Deuce. So let's get into
very,
it.
very hurt.
Tamara, what's the problem?
Hi. Well, the problem is that I can still be present virtually, and I'm on my way.
See, that sounds oxymoronish. Present virtually. It's just
We will will settle this when I get there, Hardy.
Whoa. We'll talk about this when Dad gets home. That's what that sounded like to me.
I'm not the guy looking for trouble, you understand.
I think that's more directed to Deuce.
Judge, jury, and execution.
Tamara, give us an ETA so I have time to warm up.
You have 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay.
10 minutes.
I've always wondered this too. Like before a boxing match, I know you have to like break a sweat and get your muscles loose, but and this goes for most sports. The warm up is exhausting. You see these guys doing all this stuff. I'm like, hey, leave something in the tank for the actual, for the bout. So I'll do a little bit of warm up, Tamara, but not a lot.
Okay, that's fair.
All right.
That's fair.
See you in a few.
We can't have. Then you won't have any excuse when I beat you today with my key.
That's fine. That's fine. Take your time. I'm sure they'll push back kickoff if need be. Whenever you get here. All right. Bye, Tamara.
Okay, so wait, no, I didn't get to do my key.
Oh, good. Oh, all right. Be present, right?
Yeah. So basically, I picked be present for my key because I don't want the guys to be too focused on obviously last week's loss on the Ravens. Or just like looking ahead too much about the fact that they don't have Mac Jones. So being present, playing with who you have available. I know Jacoby's not there, Mac's not playing, and I just want them to be present with who they have, the pieces they have, and the preparation they put in for this game.
I think, yeah.
Not worrying about yesterday, what happened last week with the Ravens, not looking too far ahead, like how many games Mac's going to be out, but just focusing on the task today, which is the Packers. Yeah,
I mean, you can't treat it like it's an anomaly in any way. You can't, obviously, looking back or looking forward, I think that goes week to week. But the thing with Hoyer today is you have to be in that moment and say, this is what it is. And it's, you can't catch yourself thinking about, normally what we would do here. No, it's what we're doing today. Because any break in concentration today, any opportunity to grab a free point that you don't, you're not going to win this game. You have to it's one of those games where you'll have to do everything right, and being present, I think, is a good one.
Right.
It's a good key, Tamara. All right.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. Okay, I'll see you guys in a few.
Okay, bye. All right. So now Tamara's is explained. The free points thing has been explained to me. I think I have a better grasp of what you're talking about.
Yeah,
now.
like just find a way to get some points. Maybe the offense doesn't necessarily drive to. Short field, return, pick six, something.
Okay.
Yeah. A little something for the effort.
No, I think it's going to be I think it's going to be key.
Yeah, even if it's just field position, even if it's not points, like getting field position or good return, those kind of things. I think they need every bit of that today for sure.
What do you got, Deuce?
I got dominate on D. I mean, it's along the same lines of forcing turnovers. I just think it's a big key. I think the defense. You look at what happened last week against Baltimore. You're seeing a little bit of it today happening with the Bills. I mean, it's just Lamar Jackson's really good. So I mean, I don't want to get carried away saying that Baltimore exposed the defense. I still think they're good. And I think today it's Aaron Rodgers is a tough challenge, but I think if they play up to their potential and they play well, that they can really limit the points and kind of hold them in check. I mean, it hasn't they haven't put a ton of points up on the board this year, so I feel like it's probably just a matter of time before they do start clicking and do start putting up points. They have a good run game, but I'd just love to see them defensively come out and set a tone and play kind of with their hair on fire and all the things that you guys have been saying as well. Being present, sure, and Paul said. Getting field position, taking possessions away, coming up big on third down. I think they got to do it all today on defense.
I was going to have something similar to that. Maybe I wouldn't have the clever alliteration of dominate on D, but you beat me to it because I think that's a huge key for today. I mean, I don't know how you're going to score more points than you've been scoring, and they did put up a lot of points last week against the Ravens.
Right.
But I don't think you're going to score that many or even as many as you scored against, say, Miami. With Brian Hoyer, so you have to dominate on D if you're going to win this game today. It's a great key. It's one that shouldn't be overlooked. For mine, I just went with no turnovers. I mean, nary a turnover, not limit the turnovers, guys. Let's just try to no turnovers, not one.
Never, not once.
I mean it. Not even one.
Don't even think about it.
But what if we just did? What about just one? Maybe.
What if we fumble but recover our own fumble?
Nope.
That's a turnover.
All right.
No, it's not a turnover. It's a fumble. You can fumble and recover it yourself. That's fine.
That's as far
that I'll allow.
Yeah, that's as far as you could go.
Funny.
Is it? Oh, I'm funny.
Yeah.
Funny how?
Is it?
No, I meant like the way you're explaining this.
Like your keys.
You
Is
can
it-
fumble it as long as you recover it.
Is it?
No turnovers.
By the way,
It's like your finger wagging.
I watched 2 movies yesterday
Oh.
because I was not engaged in a whole lot of college football, and I couldn't get myself into baseball last night. I was just so instead I watched 2 movies that I've seen so many times before and had no desire to watch again. I watched Princess Bride, probably 75% of it.
Sure.
It's still good.
Of course.
And Lethal Weapon 2, which I had no desire to ever watch again, and I watched a lot of it. But the inconceivable part of Princess Bride is, to me, it is inconceivable that the Patriots could be loosey-goosey with the football today, throw picks, fumble the ball, cough it up, turn it over, and win this game. There's no chance. There's no chance they can turn the ball over today or lose the turnover battle and win this game.
No, and that's what they've been doing even with their, even with Mac Jones in. So
Yes.
at some point it's got to stop. And I mean, I think just even beyond this particular game, this is just a step that this team needs to take generally on offense. And I know if Brian Hoyer goes out there and doesn't turn over, it doesn't make the same sense as Mac Jones going out there and not turning it over. But at some point as a unit, they have to go out there and stop, with these critical mistakes, especially in the second half when things are getting close. I mean, they killed themselves last week with these turnovers.
Well, I think they're all good keys, from being present to the finding the free points, dominating on D, and just completely eliminating turnovers. And if they do all those things, I still don't know that they can win today. I mean, it's really going to come down to, and this is the really unfortunate part, which Aaron Rodgers shows up. Is it kind of that week 1 Aaron Rodgers where he's like, just figuring things out, we got to be better, that's not good enough. And it's this extension of the preseason stuff that we used to scoff at and say nobody really does that. I think a couple of teams are actually kind of doing
especially
that.
with them. They were missing their tackles in that game, gradually coming back the last couple of weeks.
They're not beating themselves up over, a week 1 loss. And I think now they're starting to pay a little more attention. I don't think they want to drop a game like this where it could be, look, you're going up against, a backup quarterback, to a team that's, had a couple of struggles even with their starter. I'm sure the Packers are not looking at this as a game today where, work on a few things. It might win, it might lose it. No, they are out to win this thing today, so it depends on Aaron Rodgers and whether he's able to, be Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, it would be hard to imagine winning this game if Aaron Rodgers plays really well, right?
Thank you. Right.
Yeah, and one more thing I would add to that is, like, offensively, I think they need to finish in the red zone. I think that's a big thing. I expect them to have some success moving the ball. Stevenson, Harris, the running game, if they can get them going. But I think what we saw from Hoyer back in 2020, mistakes aside, was just poor performance inside the red zone. When they have a chance to score, they're not going to be. They can't miss it this week. Like, if you get inside the 20, you got to score a touchdown. You got to be able to do that. A lot of that's on Hoyer. I think that's some of the places where you see some of his, lack of top-end skill kind of comes out when those windows get tight down inside the 20. So anytime they can get, any way they can get, it goes back to Paul's, anytime you can get points. But offensively, if you move the ball a little bit, try to finish with a touchdown. I think that's a big secondary key on top of what we've been talking about.
All right, so that's where we kind of get things rolling here on this Patriots pregame show, which is fueled by Dunkin. In a few minutes, we'll be speaking with Pete Dougherty of the Green Bay Press-Gazette. Have we spoken with him before? Do you remember this?
Matt's saying no.
Okay.
You have to go back to 2018 probably, right?
There's also Peter Dougherty, who is the director of golf at the Atkinson Resort and Country Club.
That's who I thought it was.
I'd like to mention that just in case maybe they want
thinking
to
of the old WWE star, the Duke of Dorchester, right?
Well,
Pete Dougherty.
Well, whether it's
Pistol
him,
Pete.
but Pete.
No, I can't hear you, Matt.
Can't hear you.
Press the right button. We have not talked to this gentleman since my time as a producer.
Okay.
Okay. All right. But, Paul, if we
Yes,
mentioned
sir.
Peter Dougherty of the Atkinson Resort and Country Club a couple of times, who knows? Maybe we get the invite to go up there and play. It's close to you, right?
Is it? That's New Hampshire, right?
Yeah, but you live north of
I'm
here.
definitely closer to New Hampshire than you guys are.
Thank you. That's
No
my
doubt.
point. all
No
right?
doubts about that.
So, just work it into the show a couple of times today. Hey, earlier we spoke with Pete Dougherty, not the one at the Atkinson Resort and Country Club.
Fine place. Fine course.
And I know what you're thinking, but no, it's not the one from the Atkinson Country Club.
Not that guy.
You're not going to slip and ask this guy a question about his golf course up in New Hampshire, right?
It would be another way of working in a mention. I can't make any promises one way or the
Just
other.
at the top. Maybe ask him if he's ever golfed anywhere in
All right.
the northeastern United States.
Well, after we speak with Pete, we'll get into the whole drama of Mac Jones.
Okay,
this
so we
week.
got a few. Well, okay, so Pete's
Yeah.
Pete's lined up. All right, yeah. Let's get to it.
All right, here we go. Behind enemy lines. Let's go.
You know the view from New England,
We go behind enemy lines.
but what about the view from the other side?
And that's why you're our favorite pregame show guest every year.
You guys know you tell everybody that.
Oh, yeah.
I was on with you guys in 2018 Thursday Night Football.
Yep.
And I was told I was the favorite guest of the show.
Nope.
No.
Time now to go behind enemy lines.
My God, it's coming right for us.
From the Green Bay Press Gazette, it's Pete Dougherty here behind enemy lines. You're on with Hardy and Mike Dussault and Paul Perillo. Pete, thanks for being on with us. How you doing? It would help if I pulled him up actually over on my end.
Wow.
First time, Pete.
Good
I'm
job,
sorry.
Hardy.
What can I say? It's my first day.
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you guys?
Good. I was going to ask you if
We're
you're
a little
related
embarrassed.
to the Peter Dougherty of Atkinson Resort and Country Club, New Hampshire. That'd be silly, though. You have the same name. So you're not related.
You're such a bozo.
There's also Pete Dougherty who works for a paper in upstate New York who's a sports works in sports also, but I'm obviously not related to him either.
Again,
There you go.
Same name. All right. I always like to know about the conditions in Green Bay. People always talk about it. At this time of year, it's probably not, that big of a deal. But
October 2nd, any snow?
you never know. You never know. What's it like there today?
No, you don't ever know, but it's it looks like it's going to be ideal. It was cloudy this morning, but it was in the 50s. I haven't looked at the temperature, but I think the high was supposed to be upper 60s. So this is like, I don't know, I would call this ideal football weather, really.
Yeah, nicer than Boston today.
Hey, Pete, I want to ask you about the trajectory of the offense. I know that the turnover going on at the receiver position. You drafted a couple of young guys. Dobbs has looked really good. You still got the veteran presence of Lazar and Cobb. But just, how do you see the strides that the offense has made around Aaron? And where do you see them kind of going this season? What's that look like going forward?
Yeah, it's going to be really incremental. I'm thinking the first half of the season is going to be pretty rough. They'll have their moments, but they're going to have, their bad moments too. Those young receivers just learning how things work in the league. The offenses are so much more complex, the choice routes, all that stuff. So, and they're, it's a transition for the quarterback and for the coach because the offense is running much more through the running backs than it did in the past because those are their two best playmakers. So, it's just going to be very much a work in progress for at least the first half of the season. And if things go well and guys improve a lot, then, once we get to December, this should be a better offense.
Pete, I guess the same kind of question on the other side of the ball. I know that statistically the Packers' defense has been really good overall and especially good in pass defense. Run defense not the same. Is that a concern in Green Bay, or is that just sort of circumstantial here early in the year?
I think what happened was, and this might happen to a lot of teams, they don't play their guys in preseason. So, like, their only starter on defense who started was Quay Walker, who was a first-round draft pick.
Right.
All the other guys sat. So, I think there are tackling issues more than anything early in the season. And their run defense, not this last game, but the game before, was pretty bad because they just missed numerous tackles. DeAndre Campbell was one of their better guys, missed a bunch of tackles. He was so much better last week. I think it's those first two games, as far as tackling fundamentals go, that's almost like their preseason.
Pete, I wanted to ask you about you just mentioned the preseason, how they weren't playing their guys, which is pretty common. But we were talking right before we brought you on about, week one for the Packers and how they, have struggled in the last couple of years now. And is there any talk either from LaFleur or anybody about using these opening weeks of the season as, kind of like a, feeling out process? Because there are only a few teams that can afford to treat it that way and maybe incur a loss in the process. Is it ever spoken out loud? Do they ever say it like that? Because it sure seems like that's what they're doing.
Well, they get asked about it. The way they look at it, and this is, McVay, Shanahan, all that, is that health is just so critical in this league.
Yeah.
And it's such a long season. You had that extra game. Now we're talking 17 games. And it's just so much more important to be healthy, especially later in the year, that they never say, we're okay with losing a game, if that's the cost, but it's the implication for sure. They would never say that out loud, but it's the implication. And I guess, when you have a guy like Rodgers at quarterback where, he's won so many games in this league, you maybe you have a mulligan that some other teams don't.
I know you talked a little about the defense and the tackling issues, but just overall, it just looks like a really talented group. I mean, how do you see this defense coming together? The 2 first-round picks seems like Wyatt's starting to get involved a little bit. You mentioned Walker seems like he's jumped right into things. It just seems like you got a good mix of really talented top round kind of draft pick guys that are all playing well together right now.
Yeah, basically they've got a handful. They got 3 or 4 guys who are a cut above, really, really good players, difference makers. And then they don't have a weak spot, at least in their starting 11, if you're looking at their nickel, for instance, or their base. They don't have a real, a weak spot that they used to, that they've had for, going on a decade now. So that's the big thing is, because you need 3 or 4 playmakers, and then you need to be pretty solid everywhere else, and they finally have a lineup like that. Now, injuries could destroy that, but that's what they have going for them as of now. The depth is not great, though.
How about the status of that offensive line? I know the tackles were out early. They've come back. Are they closer to 100% at this point, Bakhtiari and Jenkins?
Yeah, coming off ACLs, Bakhtiari's was more than that, and it's been, a year and 3 quarters for him. Jenkins is getting there. I would think, maybe another month he'll be a lot closer to what he was. Bakhtiari, who knows? There's been so many fits and starts. He's had 3 surgeries on that knee, 2 after the ACL surgery. So who knows with that? But they took him off the injury report at the end of this week. So you've got to think that means he's feeling a lot better. But he's been out for so long. It's going to be a while before he approaches what he was, if his knee allows that at all.
All right, Pete, we always ask our Behind the Enemy Lines guest to give us a score prediction. I'm sure you've written one there for the Green Bay Press Gazette. Who do you have today, and by how much?
I did. I'm trying to remember. I think I had the Packers 27-17. Not having Mac Jones, it's tough to win with the backup. I know Hoyer's not bad, but it's just tough to win in this league with a backup quarterback.
He may not be great. I mean, it's okay. When it comes to Hoyer, you don't have to. We don't know. We haven't seen him in a minute. So, all right, I think that's a totally fair prediction, though. Pete, appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you, Pete.
There it goes. Pete Dougherty there, Green Bay Press Gazette. No relation to the other Pete.
Or the other Pete.
Yeah. Hi, Tamara.
Hi.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm having a seat issue.
Well.
Hi.
You get situated and you just do whatever
here.
you need to do. Anything that strike you from what Pete said? Anything having to do with the team? I mean, it's pretty standard. That's the thing with Green Bay. It's like some dramas aside here and there. That team, it's not much of a mystery. You know what they're about. You know where they need some. You mentioned a couple of things defensively that they'd probably like to improve on, but. You know who they are. You know what they've got.
Yeah, I mean, defensively, there's just there's a lot of first-round guys on the defense. I mean, they've clearly built it well, and I think they're starting to reap some of the fruit from those guys. I mean, I know Rashawn Gary was one guy we talked about this week, just standing out. I was a little surprised just saying what a process he thought the offense was going to be this year. I mean, it seemed I wouldn't expect with Aaron Rodgers that you would be quite willing to kind of concede the first half of the season. Maybe my expectations would be a little higher, but I mean, as we talked about this week, the 19 Patriots team was somewhat in a similar place with a very talented quarterback, but a lot of uncertainty at the weapon spots, and there were some growing pains. They have those 2 running backs though, Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, who are very good and offer kind of 2 different types of threats. So they do have some pieces, but I don't know. I'm just surprised they're kind of willing to watch it take that long, a half year. Maybe they'll get on track today. Hopefully not, though.
All right. Tamara, any other opening thoughts on this game? It's nice to see you. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm here.
We were obviously talking about our keys, and we just got off with Peter there from Green Bay. But it's one of these games where we're just trying to decide, like, how is it that the Patriots can actually win this one today with Hoyer in? It seems like it's just one of those weeks where everything's going to have to go right for the Pats, and you're not going to be able to make any mistakes, and you're going to have to almost hope for and count on Aaron Rodgers being a bit off.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when you look at what happened versus the Bucs, it's like, it might give you a little bit of hope that, okay, maybe they're not going to score a lot of points.
Right.
But then also it's Aaron Rodgers, so you can't look at that game and be like, okay, well, just because he didn't score a lot of points versus Tampa Bay doesn't mean he can't go out there and do it. And so I think that, to your point, I think that it's going to take the team just leaving all of the drama of this entire week here, hopefully in Foxborough, and being present in Green Bay. And I think hopefully the game plan they put together is solid and they can come back here with a win.
All right. Let's get to the phones here. 855-PATS-500. Emails coming in, webradio@patriots.com. We'll get to those too, but we start with Pat in Agawam. Pat, what's going on?
Lady and gentlemen, what's going on?
Hi. How you doing, Pat?
Hey, Patty.
Hey, not too bad. So I'm really not worried about this game because obviously our starting quarterback's down, and I think the consensus is even if Mac Jones was healthy, this would be a tough game to pull out in Green Bay. But do you guys take any stock into, I know I'm not a big guy in Pro Football Focus, but do you guys think that the secondaries, more specifically the cornerbacks, have actually done a lot better than what probably most of us fans and everyone in the media projected? And I think if there is a way for them to possibly pull this game off, it's going to start defensively, and those guys have to play big games.
Defensively, they have to do their part, but you're going to have to figure out a way to score some points with Hoyer in there, too. It's hard for me to say, the first things first, you got to limit them. I'm more concerned with whether or not they're going to be able to move the ball downfield and actually put points on the board. I really am.
Yeah, I think it's hard with the sample size with the cornerbacks because I do think that, they did a pretty good job in hindsight of containing, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle from the big explosive plays, but, hard to really judge them against Pittsburgh, hard to really judge them against Baltimore, who kind of had their way with them, but, again, it's kind of unique. So, and what we know today, you're seeing a good quarterback, but you're seeing some young receivers and, some older guys. So, I think the real tests are coming up for the secondary. I think they've been fine.
That's one of those that all depends on if you were going in and thinking the other team's going to complete every pass they throw them, then you've been pleasantly surprised. If you were just sort of thinking, it's the NFL and sometimes they complete them and sometimes they don't, I think they've been fine. But I agree with you. The only game they really looked strong was Pittsburgh, who can't throw.
We're seeing again today.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Pat, thanks for the call.
I am worried about them moving the ball down the field today, too. Hopefully, we get a good dose of Damian Harrison or Ramondre Stevenson, and that's it. I'll talk to you guys after.
All right, thanks, buddy.
I'm hoping that the defense, when I'm speaking it into its existence, when they get takeaways today playing against just a young receiving core, that the offense can score. I think it's so frustrating when the defense does their job and the offense doesn't compliment them and score.
Or maybe give the ball right back.
Yes.
I mean,
so that's what's frustrating is the defense does their part to get a 3-and-out or get the takeaway, and then the offense just gives it right back. So I'm hoping more complimentary play.
We're watching the Lions. They're about to punch one in here for 6.
Okay, no more Lions talk till next week.
What? Don't you think you should do some scouting on the on next week's opponent?
You've given us enough scouting the past 3 weeks.
This is important stuff. Can we talk about Mac Jones and Bill Belichick specifically this week? Because
day by day.
Well, first of all,
day by day.
The day by day thing
day by day.
was, I don't know. I don't know how you sit through that. And then a couple of days later, it was at the Friday press conference where he's just a changed guy. And I don't mean to make light of anybody who does feel different, like chemically from one day to the next, but he was like a different guy. Like he just got, an extra shot of espresso or something. He was all chipper. He's like, yeah, remember when I was being such a jerk to all you guys like 2 days ago? Ha, ha,
he was glowing. He was glowing talking about Green Bay, too. I mean, he just he loves him some Green Bay, that's for sure.
Let's talk about Mac, just, baseline, the injury, which we all know, even if Bill won't say it out loud, is some kind of an ankle sprain. Was there any thought, did any of you guys ever think at some point this week he might actually be able to go on Sunday?
No. I'm not a doctor, but no.
No. Okay, so that's number one. What is it? Because I just saw Nick Saban this morning. I guess it was in a post game. He was talking about his quarterback and the injury, and he said it's a shoulder sprain, and he's had him before, and he'll work through it. They're normally better after a couple of days. And if there's one coach that you can most closely draw a comparison to in sports, it's Nick Saban. I know it's college, but it's like Nick and Bill are very much the same guy to a large degree. And there's Nick talking about it. Like, we're not asking to see the MRIs. We're not asking you, but as a head coach, Right. So what's the deal? What's he doing?
It's almost like he wanted Green Bay to not know what to prepare for. But at the end of the day, it's like, how old are we? Like, well, just let them know. Like, I guess he wanted them to prepare for both and leave them a little time as possible to prepare.
Let me ask you this, Paul. Is the preparation that much different from Mac Jones to Brian Hoyer?
No, and Green Bay talked all week about Brian Hoyer, so
yeah,
they didn't waste any time worrying about Mac Jones.
Right.
I just don't get why.
I don't get it.
Like, the whole week was I don't get it. But then it was like, go out to practice. He didn't move. He just stood there.
And then you listed
behind
him
the
as
net. And then you ruled him as out 3 hours later.
But he didn't practice. Like,
I don't get it.
I feel bad that he got fully dressed to go out there and be a puppet for the 10 minutes that we were out there.
I sort of had a late week epiphany on this one. Don't know if it's
I like
right.
This. I like this, though.
But Mike and I were talking about this with Fred. I still think the crux of it is the Patriots wanted him to have surgery because that gets him back on the field quicker. And he didn't want to have surgery. But I think, whereas I thought there was a little bit of Bill Belichick maybe sort of giving some hope there that he could come back, was putting a little pressure on him. I don't think it was Bill putting pressure on Mac. I think Mac, his response to the surgery was, we don't need to do that. I'm healing. I'm getting better. I'm rehabbing. I'm tough. I'm closer to coming back than you think. I don't think he's close to coming back. Listen, I don't think he's going to play next week either. We'll see what happens. Maybe he can get on the field and do some practicing as opposed to standing still, which he did Friday in front of the media. We'll see if he can practice, and we'll change our opinion next week. But I think Mac might have been the one that sort of said, no, Coach, I can do this. I can get back. I don't need surgery. I'm going to be back in the same amount of time whether I have the surgery or not. I think it might have been Mac sort of adding the speculation that perhaps he could be back. I don't think he's close. We'll see.
And that makes at least sense to me that it was Matt kind of pushing it because, I have a problem if they were pushing him to just stand still out there at practice and then we're going to rule you out anyway. It doesn't seem like there's any. So I like Paul's take on this, but I also hope that, Mac is going to be able to be back when he says he's going to be back and that he's going to be effective when he gets back.
And I hope that Bill and the Patriots protect him from himself. Because he does want to get back, and I get that he wants to get back quicker. But I want to make sure that he's only on the field if he can be, because he can't protect himself right now.
I feel like, as a whole, there's a lot of problems with the team needs to protect the player from themselves, and then also sometimes the team needs to protect the player, period. Like, I have no idea what went wrong with the Tua thing. I'm interested to see how that unfolds. Even with Lamar Jackson, you think back to that was handled terribly. So I'm torn in a place where I'm like, I don't think you should be back out there until you're ready to be out there. Like, what's the point of rushing it? Because you're going to make it worse.
So you think Bill was trying to, in some way, protect Mac from trying to make it back too soon?
No, I just think Bill is listening to Mac tell him that I can get back out there, I can do this, I can do that, I can do the other thing, and it's just sort of like I originally thought there might have been a chance that he was putting pressure on him, and I don't think that anymore.
Okay.
I also wonder if this is somewhat of Mac reaction to the reaction of him coming off the field, and not a great look for him as far as the video that got out, and then him kind of trying to prove I'm tough. I'm back out here.
I think Mac is trying to show everybody I'm the tough guy that you think I am. I'm not. This isn't going to beat me. I'm going to be back faster than you think. And that's admirable. I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I just don't think he's that close to coming back.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like when you come back though, Like our expectation as fans and all that is that you're going to be ready to go, not, oh, I didn't get surgery and I'm okay now, but I'm not going to be 100% the rest of the year. That's the gray area that I'll be watching for here going next few weeks. Like, because if you're not going on IR, you're not going to tap out for 4 weeks and get it surgery or get whatever you need. Hopefully you'll be back before 4 weeks, right? I mean, that's what the time frame is, and I still think that's asking a lot based on what this injury is, if it is what everybody says it is.
I would rather him just take the 4 weeks if he needs the 4 weeks than try to rush back, because at the end of the day, if he comes out there not fully 100% or at least 90% and he is just playing terribly, not putting the weight on his foot that he can, like, I would rather him come out there and be able to play 100% than play 75%.
Well, then you're going to be waiting. I think
could be 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
I would rather that, because I mean
Me too.
we've seen him like I'm sorry, but we've seen him 3-4 games now, and he hasn't even been that great when he's been healthy. So like, why would I want half healthy Mac Jones out there when he hasn't even been that great so far
because
this
we're
season?
about to see what a full healthy Brian Hoyer looks like. Number one,
Do you think it'll be that much different?
I think it has a chance to be different, too. I mean, I'm sorry. I know it's a snapshot, but I keep thinking back to Kansas City, the guy who should be able to go in
and
there
unfortunately,
and
he's in the same spot today where he goes into Lambeau, a game they weren't winning anyway, with Mac Jones.
They didn't have a chance to win in Kansas City?
No.
Of course they did.
No, they didn't. They didn't.
What was the final of the game?
26-10. And Kansas City kind of sleptwalked through the game.
Right. And if you
won by 16.
And if you end up scoring,
I'm just saying, going into the game, it wasn't a game that you were going to win. You're not going into Arrowhead with Cam Newton and winning that game.
Okay.
And I don't think you're going into Lambeau with anybody and winning the game as they're currently constituted. But that's fine. I just think it's unfair that everybody just remembers like 2 plays in the Kansas City game. That's all we've really seen from Brian Hoyer. Like, if Brian Hoyer throws like 3 picks today, is everybody going to say, there's the Brian Hoyer, or is everybody going to say, oh, that's what Mac did last week?
There's going to be both of that.
But to Tamara's point, that's what we've seen from Mac Jones in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Turnovers.
But we also saw Mac Jones, as a starting quarterback, win a bunch of games last year, and Brian Hoyer hasn't won a game in his last 11 starts.
I understand that. I'm not talking about big picture stuff. I'm talking about today, a snapshot right now.
But when you talk about 8 weeks,
I don't think Brian Hoyer will play any different than Mac Jones did in the first 3 weeks of the season. You're going to say during the 7-game winning streak last year, was Mac Jones better than Brian Hoyer? Yep.
But now,
the first 3 games this year, Mac Jones was kind of like Brian Hoyer.
I just think you have to go a little bigger picture when you start talking about wait till he's 100%, even if it's 7-8 weeks. Now you're talking about more than just a couple of games with Hoyer. You're talking about
that's the
half
problem.
your season.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I have to say, hold on a second.
That's the problem.
Why don't we wait for everybody to be 100%? And you won't even be able to field the team.
I just want him to the point where he can protect himself. That's all. As long as he's not a sitting duck, but he doesn't
totally
move great
fair.
as it is. Last game against Baltimore was probably as well as I've ever seen him move.
Yeah.
And now you're going to take that away from him? I think that's a hard thing to ask.
I think your assessment is not the one that or your theory. It's essentially the opposite of the most popular theory.
I know, because it's in fashion to just say that Brian Hoyer doesn't belong in an NFL uniform.
No.
That's because of how badly he played against Kansas City. People forget that they moved the ball up and down the field against Kansas City, and he kept making bad plays when they got there.
I'm not talking about that theory.
I would take that from this offense in the first 3 weeks. They didn't move the ball up and down the field the first 3 weeks. They did last week, but not the first 2. I would take moving the ball up the field and, petering out in the red zone.
I'm talking about your theory of Mac Jones saying, I want to get back out there. I want to go play. And Bill's like, okay, you know what? I understand that. We'll call it day to day, but Bill really knows. The other theory that was more popular this week is Mac being told to go get the surgery, get healthier faster. And Mac is the one saying, what am I rushing back out there for?
Oh, I don't believe that.
Mm-mm.
You think Mac is going to take his sweet time because he doesn't care, because he doesn't think they're going to win the Super Bowl?
I'm just saying your theory is the opposite of the one that was getting the most traction throughout the week from the people that we talked to.
And people make fun of me for that all the time because they think it's just a contrarian point of view. But sometimes I just step back and I think for myself, and B, I just don't think it makes any sense for a guy in his second year to say, I don't want to play. Why do I want to play, Mike? Why do I want to establish myself as an NFL starter and set myself up 2 years from now to sign a big lucrative contract? Why would I want to do that? You know what would be better for me? Let me sit out about 8 games. if I don't have to. Now, if he has to, that's different. That's totally different. If he has this, quote, pretty severe high ankle sprain and he can't play for like 6 games, I don't think that I don't think that equals he didn't want to play because he knows the kind of team he's coming back to. Like, sometimes things can happen and they're not necessarily related. It's the ultimate Mike Felgerism. You know, just because something happens that you said was going to happen doesn't mean that these two things equal each other. You know, scoreboard. I'm a slave to the scoreboard. Look, is his big thing all the time. That's why I'm always arguing with him.
I'm merely facilitating here. Okay, I feel like you're getting angry with me.
I'm not getting angry about it. I'm siding with Tamara.
Law and order sound.
Right, I'm siding with Tamara here. Like, I get like 100%
order
is
in
a
the
stretch.
court.
He needs to be if he's on the field, he needs to be at a level where he can protect himself.
Sure,
and he can play to a level that will allow him to be able to make plays and move around. It's not going to be in his best interest to be a sitting duck in the pocket. Now, I also get it. Like Jimmy Garoppolo, when he hurt his shoulder, they did the same thing to him. They called his character into question, and they said he was soft. And, like, they had a Thursday night game after a Sunday game with a separated shoulder. He's supposed to go out and play it with that? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't – again, everybody else would side with Jimmy Garoppolo soft. Yeah, he's soft. I think he did the right thing for himself.
Yep.
Is surgery out for Mac now? That's not.
I think
right.
Surgery is out. I would
right?
say. I mean, my guess.
If you're gonna have surgery,
I
you're
think
gonna have it in the first 3 days.
We would have heard about surgery.
Right.
I think so. Yeah.
Right. So that window's pretty much closed then.
That would be my guess.
I think is interesting. Yeah.
It's not coming out of nowhere though. The people see Mac Jones on the sideline, screaming at the tablet. It's cover 4.
And they see the pictures of his reaction when he was injured. And believe I'm not trying to be like high and mighty. I made cracks too. Like I keep saying my son was in the 5th grade when he broke his femur and he didn't have that look on his face when he came off the field. And that's true. But it doesn't mean that he wasn't in excruciating pain. I think we like to throw the word soft around with these guys, and I don't think there were a lot of soft guys in the NFL.
I think Mac is tough SOB.
Yes,
but
I do too.
And I think he proved
taken
that
a lot of
year,
hits.
And I think he, whatever he suffered on Sunday against Miami is real, and there's no debate as to whether or not he is hurt. And look, if he's going to be out there suited up and he could move, I think he would have moved. I think where the debate comes in is how badly do the Patriots want him back versus how badly does Mac want to come back, and where the two meet. And the only thing I would guard against, and what I do have an opinion on, and where I'll step away from facilitator role, is I'd say careful about being too cavalier about saying, oh, let's just go 6-8 games with Brian Hoyer. Like, whoa. Fellow Sparty, love the guy, love him, but I've seen that movie. I know how it works out.
There's a difference between, I think, what Tamara and I are suggesting. Like, if he needs 6 games, say 6 or 8 games, he should take it. Mm-hmm. And there's a difference between that and thinking we'll be fine if Brian Hoyer just plays.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they'll be fine.
I don't think they'll be fine.
I think, too, the context for me, though, too, is that Mac's never really been significantly hurt before. Like, he's never, he said, I've never missed a game to injury. Like, he's never experienced. Like, I agree with you guys that he is tough, which I view as he's gotten smoked a few times, and he tends to get back up and get back in there. And a lot of times, even going back to college, he plays even better after that. But I think you're in a little bit of uncharted territory with him with, having to face, like, you're an NFL quarterback now. You're getting off the field. There's surgeries being suggested. There's IR considerations. There's all those things that they have to figure out. So as much as I agree with you guys that Mac is tough, I also think this is a new deal for him, and how this all goes down. I think we're in a little bit uncharted territory with him.
I think that's fair because he doesn't have, of all the experience things we talk about for rookies or second-year guys, the one thing he's lacking in is having any kind of a significant injury and what it's like to go back and play with it. After hopefully it's fully healed and he's fully ready to go, or maybe 90% or something like that. That's something. And bumps and bruises, sure, they get him. This one's different. Yeah, this is absolutely different.
The thing that keeps popping in my head is there's a fine line between tough and stupid. And, it's great that, you want to go out there, but, like, you got to be smart, and you have to do the things that are best for you in recovery to get you back to 100%. Because, as I said, when you do get back, there's no more excuses about the injury. You come back, everyone's going to expect you to play well.
All right, let's step aside here for a moment. We want to thank Dunkin. It's always game on with Dunkin. Grabbing a coffee is the most important game day ritual, more so than a shower more so than eating the coffee. It's the most important game day ritual. Oh, I suppose everybody showered today.
I've had way too much coffee today.
I'm the guy.
Way too much coffee today.
The best call for football is Dunkin', the official coffee of the New England Patriots. America runs on Dunkin'.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS, only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots. Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
I can't wait to see him post-game.
You should. You're going to give him a verbal undressing?
I'm going to give him a what for?
Okay.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
I think that was when you and I said what for at the exact same time, Paul. Go ahead and
because we're both dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. I love the Andy Griffith show so much, and I got a little sampling of what for earlier this week. It's my comfort food. Just put it on in the background. Oh.
Yeah, the whole thing.
It's character driven. You would appreciate it as a former showbiz guy, Deuce. It's not jokes. It's character driven.
I got a quick story to share. There's like there's this little body of water like just in like Hollywood up in the hills. But we were hiking around one time and this old guy came up to us and he was like, "Hey, you know, this is where they shot the open to the Andy Griffith show. Like right here was where the water was."
Right.
I can't picture it. It's like right at this park. I forget what it was called. It's right near Laurel Canyon, up in the hills. But random story.
Wasn't it Mayberry,
right
North
here.
Carolina?
I was like, that's great. Thanks, bye.
Cool story, Hansel.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what they don't have in Mayberry is Dom's. That's the official steak tip of the New England Patriots. Dominate the grill this season with the Tailgate Gate subscription. Oh, boy. Tailgate box subscription. Dom's, proud sponsor of the Patriots Pregame Show. Visit domsausage.com to choose your plan and get a curated box full of Their quality meats delivered to your doorstep, ready to grill for the game. You will be the MVP of the tailgate season.
When he corrected himself, I still didn't know what he said.
Love to get
Like Doms. You get a box of meat, you take the box to the tailgate, and then you grill them.
It's curated. Curate your box of meat.
Right.
They'll put it together like whatever you want, whatever you're fancy. They'll assemble a team of meat for you.
I wonder if they tailgate in Canada. Let's ask Tony right from the jump.
They don't call it that though, I bet.
And if I don't like your answer, Tony, you don't get to ask anything else. Do you tailgate in Canada?
Do we in Canada tailgate?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. What's the? Never mind. I don't care. All right. What's your real question, Tony?
Well, we got another classic matchup. It's going to be Rogers versus Hoyer.
Yeah.
This week.
Yeah, not quite classic. Okay, that's all right.
About Mac Jones, one thing I'm not sure about is that if he was going to miss, like realistically, 6 to 8 games, why did the Pats not put him on IR?
Well,
and does it possibly mean that he'll be coming back sooner than we expected?
Yeah, no. Well, no one knows what to expect. So he almost literally can't come back sooner than expected because no one knows when he's coming back. But yeah, I would say, Tony, to answer your question, he will be out fewer than 4 games because I think they would have put him on IR if they felt like he was going to miss 4 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I heard something that Tim said he had the same kind of injury as a quarterback, and he said he was never quite right. It's not going to heal like after 3 or 4 weeks. It was affecting him. I think it was Chris Sims said that it was affecting him the whole season. So if Matt comes back early, he's probably going to be nursing that injury for the rest of the year.
I think obviously if he came back before he was ready, it was going to affect him. But listen,
that's what Tamara's point was in the first segment.
Right. Number one, if you're wondering why we don't have information, I don't know if you get Bill's weekday pressers up in Canada. They haven't been throwing tons of information out there. It's been a little light on the info front. Number one.
Need the info.
Yeah, and number two, the high ankle. That's a legit concern. I am not writing Mac off for the rest of the season or his career or anything else. But when you talk about injuries that you could suffer that you're going to continue to deal with, it's the one Zoe talks about probably as much as any is like high ankle, and he kind of just gets this look and is like, ugh. They're nasty.
Yeah,
they're nasty.
One of my favorite parts of the week were Mike and Tony like railing on that they shouldn't call it a high ankle sprain because it just undersells like what it actually is. It makes it sound like he's just got a sprained ankle, right? But those guys were like, no, this is serious.
Zoe had a great description of it. He said the high ankle. He said it's the type of thing where you're laying there and you're trying to rest and you're trying to do the thing, and the dog walks by and like his tail will like flip and hit your toe of the foot that's got the bad high ankle, and it will shoot pain up your leg like it's happening all over again. He said that's what a high ankle feels like. It's just,
I mean, all this stuff you hear about it. I mean, and I go back to like when Gronk. I think I first became aware of it when Gronk had one in the AFC Championship in 2011, and it's
and he couldn't move.
He couldn't move.
Like that's the thing that people are like. Well, he played like and he couldn't play.
Couldn't push
He
off.
absolutely could not move.
Not to mention there's varying degrees of them too, so you don't even really know like where, and it's hard to say on the outside whose is worse, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how the next couple weeks go with Mac and what they're able to do with Hoyer here in these next few games.
Let's go to Johnny in Atlanta.
Kenny Pickett's in for Trubisky.
Yeah,
the move has been made.
Oh, there it is.
It's about time.
Johnny, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on? This is Jonathan in Atlanta.
Hi.
Hey, Johnny Euphonic.
Hey, Johnny.
I'd like to say hello to Tamara Brown, is it?
Yes. Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I've been calling in for years, but it's finally good to see a sister on the show. Paul, what's up, man?
Who was that for, Paul?
Okay.
Oh, hey, what's going on?
Johnny makes all the instrumentals for our shows.
Oh, okay.
Come on now, man.
Okay.
You guys,
I got caught watching a little.
Red Zone.
I got caught watching a little Red Zone there. I thought Tyler Bass pushed a field goal to the right, but just snuck it inside the upright. 2013, Baltimore.
Johnny, you do fantastic work. I didn't know this was the Johnny who does the music for the shows. I love it.
Outstanding work, Johnny.
Me, man. What's up, Paul?
Yeah, no, outstanding work. In all sincerity, I was watching Red Zone. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All good. Hey, fellas, I'm calling in today. It's beautiful down here in Atlanta, maybe like 70. Just got off work a little while ago. Today is my big brother's birthday, who's also from Boston.
Happy birthday.
My birthday was four days ago. On the 20th is my birthday. I'm hoping for a birthday win, but it's not likely, right? So,
hey,
what
you
I
never
would
know.
like to see-
Well, it's 4 days after the fact too, Johnny. You're not a 12-year-old. You don't get the week-long
Birthday week.
celebration. That's number one.
What are the chances, fellas? What are the chances you think that the Patriots may just try to do one of those games like last year? Run heavy, give the ball to Ramondre and Harris all day long. When they played Buffalo last year, like they only threw the ball 6, 7 times?
Yeah,
three, I believe.
It's funny you mentioned that, and I'm not going to hang up on you because I want real answers from everyone else here. But the Patriots will oftentimes do the opposite of what you think is obviously what they should do today, and obviously what they should do today is to go heavy in the run game and give it to Damian, give it to Ramondre. It's in most weeks I would say now watch them go do the opposite. There's a huge variable in there with Brian Hoyer, so I don't know. Do you think it's possible that they actually
spread them out? And we got to get the ball.
No, I think they'll go heavy run, but they're not going to throw the ball 3 times. But they'll be a run-oriented game plan, I would think with a lot of short, quick passes.
I'm like torn because again, no Jacoby Myers, and so it's like funny. Last week we were going through all the people like, oh, maybe it's going to be Kendrick Bourne's game with Jacoby Myers out, and then it ended up being Devontae, which was just like a shocker.
You sound
honestly.
surprised, Tamara. You brought him up in the pregame
I
show.
did.
Great point.
I did
Great
bring
point, and I didn't know that Myers was out.
Yes.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Myers is out, and I'm really upset about
He's
it.
a Georgia boy, by the way, Jacoby.
Yes.
He's from down here.
Yeah. I love Jacoby. I'm sad that he's not playing. So it's going to be pretty interesting again. It's like it's going to be Devontae Parker's game again, or is it going to be Kendrick?
Or is it going to be Ramondre?
I would like to see the ball.
Yeah,
That's what I like.
Ramondre.
No Jair Alexander for Green Bay today. That's
That's a good sign.
Big loss for
Thanks
the Packers.
for the call, fellas.
All right, Johnny, thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you for all you do for the show too. Speaking of Jacoby Myers, we spent a lot of time and hand-wringing in here about what the game was going to look like without him last week. I'm not going to say he wasn't missed, but it didn't really factor in as much as maybe some people thought it would.
I mean, maybe Mac wouldn't have thrown 3 interceptions if he had his most trusted target.
No, Mac would have still
If he
thrown
throws
those.
to Parker, it's going to get picked.
Yeah,
So.
Mac would have still.
No,
That's
touche.
faux.
I apologized on the show. I put you guys on the up list, but
No.
apparently it wasn't enough. Cardi's still coming for his pound of flesh about this whole Jacoby Myers thing.
No, I think Mac Jones would have still thrown those.
No, I do too. I mean, it can't help not having Jacoby Myers there, but I do think that there's something to be said of spreading them out. With Alexander out, maybe they do throw a little bit more than you might expect with some of the matchups. I don't know. I mean, it's a tough front, and they want to play a lot of.
I think it's going to be exactly the same as it. I know people are thinking I'm being contrarian Joe. I'm not. I think the game plan is going to be extremely similar to what it would have been. They're going to throw the ball plenty. They're going to run the ball plenty. Like, you can't just go into a game without like an extenuating if like the weather just says you can't throw the ball tonight.
Right.
That's different. They're going to throw the ball today like they would with Mac Jones. Now maybe they won't be all the same plays. Maybe Brian Hoyer's more comfortable with one of the other receivers than he is with the guys that Mac always throws to. I don't know. Maybe he has more of a relationship with Aguilar, or who knows? Maybe a little Jordan Humphrey. I mean, it could be anybody.
Yeah.
I would expect to see more of the tight ends today and some more targets for the backs because that makes more sense to me for a backup.
You have inactives there, Tamara.
I do. Mac Jones, obviously. Lawrence Guy, Jacoby Myers, Jalen Mills, Josh Bledsoe for the Patriots.
Yep. And Lawrence Guy hasn't really gotten much talk at all. And I mean, I think he's been really good this year. I think that's a big blow going against these guys with their rushing offense. I think that's a piece you're really going to miss. You wonder how much is Barmore going to play a little bit more? I mean, I guess it seems like then Sam Roberts is probably going to be active to give them a little bit of depth. I don't know if he's going to actually play, but I think not having LG that's a pretty big blow. I think going against this rushing attack.
Before Paul steps out here, we don't have. I checked the over/unders. We do have a Brian Hoyer prop in there for passing yards, but just pass attempts today. I'll set the number right now. Okay, 23.5 over/under for pass attempts. Brian Hoyer today.
That's a good number, but
it's a good number, isn't it?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good number.
Paul's going over.
I'm going over.
I'll say under.
I'll be back.
I'll
Right
go
around
over
there,
too.
though.
23.5, Tamara. Pass attempts for Brian Hoyer today. You want over or under?
I wasn't ready. Start with Mike.
Everybody already went.
Really?
Everybody already went.
Oh, my God, I missed.
23.5 pass attempts for Brian Hoyer today.
Under.
Do you want the? Okay. We got 2 overs and 2 unders. All right. We'll see how it pans out. 855-PATS-500, webradio@patriots.com. If you'd like to email the show, be happy to get to your commentary that way, like we're about to right now from Joe in Florida. He says, not anti-Mac, but have not really seen the performance match the hype. I pull for him, but I do not see what others apparently see. Oh, here we go. You ready for this? That little dance he did in the end zone last week is not something that I want to see from a guy who is not playing at average NFL quarterback level.
Oh, that's the bar to celebrate a touchdown.
I will not be surprised if the Pats win today. I want to see ground and pound with no more than 20 pass attempts. The AFC East is up for grabs if the Pats players really want to join the party. Joe in Osprey, Florida.
Well, let me just, can I jump in real quick? Because Jalen Mills is also on the inactive list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that.
Oh, sorry, I must not have heard you. I didn't clock that at
Yeah,
first. I think that's
no
a
one
big.
said
There's a lot of
That's
people
a big
not
deal.
being present today, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, I was making sure that we had video for warm-ups. Okay.
Yeah, that's a big.
I'm making sure we got dog food for tomorrow, but you don't hear me, like tapping out for 30 seconds at a time.
This is about the present. You're talking about dog food for tomorrow. I'm talking about warm-ups for today. So
And that's what level I operate on. I can operate in the future.
No.
You understand? I'm like a time
we're
traveler.
being present today, okay?
Yeah, Mills. I think that's another significant one.
Oh,
I mean, he's one of their starting corners. Came up with a hamstring injury late last week. Looked a little bit limited last week. So I mean, it's going to put a lot on Jay Jones, Jack Jones. Sean Wade might get some
Marcus
run.
Jones.
Maybe Marcus Jones, Miles Bryant.
The good thing you can say about Jacoby Myers being out again is we don't know if it's Brian Hoyer's favorite target. We don't know if Brian Hoyer has a favorite target. We just don't know.
Yeah, maybe we'll see more of the tight ends today. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, now you're getting me going.
The tight ends?
Oh,
we haven't seen them. Barely.
Well, they can't block. How could you possibly play a tight end that can't block very well? That's not something we do. I don't know. Can Hunter Henry catch a ball for his $12 million a year? Can he get?
We'll find.
I think he can, but I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know from watching the first 3 games.
I could see them being used today in some jet sweeps.
That'd be awesome. I would love that today. Okay.
Maybe Jonnu Smith.
That's something to look forward to. Hunter Henry.
Who
Hunter Henry today. Please and thank you.
Little red zone. I mean, that's what it feeds into. I think he'd be good down there.
Well, let's get in the red zone
Kyle
first.
Duggar back too. Another one to point out. Just missed him last week, so good to have Kyle Duggar back.
Absolutely, and that's something you're going to need today against the Green Bay Packers and their offense. Let's go to Jose in Texas here on the Patriots Pregame Show. Jose, what's going on? Jose.
Hello. Yesterday, or last week, I called the post-game show talking bad about the defense, but I guess we didn't do too bad seeing that Lamar's already put up 20 in the first half against the Bills.
Do the Bills still have 3 people out on defense?
They have.
What are you guys expecting this week from the defense?
Yeah, it's dangerous to go week to week and talk about it, but once you get, a couple of and look, one of the plays Lamar made today to pick up a first down is absolute insanity. Have you seen the replay of it?
I don't think I have.
He avoids the rush. He's down. He is. If I were a ref, I would have whistled the play dead. He gets out of the sack, drops back another 6-7 yards, throws off his back foot downfield for a bobbled, ended up being caught by a different receiver other than the guy who tipped it. I mean, it's Lamar doing Lamar things, and his receivers bailing him out a little bit too. So I wouldn't put too much on that, Jose, but I will also say that the defense is, as well as they may have played last week, in hindsight, it's like, oh, they held Lamar to like fewer points. They're going to need to play better today if the Patriots are going to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, I said it all week. I think they got Lamar. I mean, and and it happens. He's an MVP type player, having an MVP type game. Just the pure speed, they didn't have any answers for it. Now, I mean, you can't give him a full pass because he's Lamar. You've played him before. He exists in the league, but I don't know. I look at it, and unfortunately, you got to look at almost the Bills the same way of Josh Allen when Josh Allen does Josh Allen things. And, I just saw another play, another fourth down where it's like everything seems covered, but you can't tackle him. He's too big, and he just wiggles his way out for the first down. So I still think highly of this defense. I'm not going to go back on what I saw all through training camp and, through these first 3 games. I think they've shown some good stuff, but clearly they have to make a few more plays. But I like them more in this kind of traditional passing game. But without Mills, it'll be a little interesting.
I think also, too, without Lawrence Guy. I think the first half of the Ravens game, I thought the defense was great. I mean, obviously, Wise was able to come up with those 3 sacks in the first half, but it was significantly different the second half when Lawrence Guy wasn't out there. So I'll be interested to see, was that a point of emphasis in practice this week without him, just kind of working out the kinks, or
Yeah, I mean,
it's tough without
I
him.
agree with you. I just think those guys up front played pretty well, the whole game. It wasn't like they were getting the ones that were getting pushed out of the way. I think for me, the Lamar stuff was really about the second level guys just kind of being like, "Where's the ball?" And they're all running one way, and Lamar is going Mach 2 the other way, and you just have no chance. I mean, a couple of those plays, it's like it seems like they've got it all figured out. When they've got him, they're all closing in on him, and there's just this little window, and that's all he needs to just explode through it. So, look, they've started off so great the last few years, and you've just had the boogeymen and all the I want to see them finish strong, finish with their best football this year, and I think they do have some talented young pieces and some new interesting pieces that might not have looked great against Lamar, but I still think they've got some good things that can be done here this season with this defense.
Dan in Virginia in Michigan says, "G'day, Hardy. Which team is going to have a more disappointing season, the Patriots or the Michigan State Spartans?" Yikes.
Ooh. Sparty.
Yeah, Sparties. That's disappointing.
That's bad.
Yeah. They're not good.
Not good.
They stink. No. But for the panel,
sorry. It's so distracting having this TV on.
Be present, Tamara.
Tell Paul. He's the red zone.
It's hard to be present when Kenny Pickett's and the Pittsburgh Steelers are scoring. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Take whatever time you need.
Sorry.
Well, I mean,
I would just like to say it's fine when Hardy is watching the Lions over here and just all on the TV, but then when it's anyone else.
Because if the Lions do something good, that is noteworthy. It is remarkable. It is worthy of a remark. You understand?
You have to save all of this for next week.
No.
Wait, the Lions are on. The Lions are on. The Lions are on.
Thank you.
They're about to score too.
Oh my goodness. Sit down. That was Sanders-esque. Look at that.
Okay, I will say that stiff arm was
that's
pretty
Jamal
nice.
Williams.
Yeah, they're still
nice
down
run.
Still down 10. For the panel, which side of the football is under more pressure today? A defense that has to do well because the offense isn't going to do much, or the offense because they're down a key piece, but they will still have to score because the defense is up against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, defense. I mean, the offense has their excuse built in no matter what happens.
There it is.
The backup. But, I mean, if the defense gets shredded and gives them no chance, then it's like, whoa, what are we even doing?
What if the defense does their job and holds Green Bay to 13 points today?
I mean, great. I feel great. That's all you can ask of them on that side of the ball, I mean, it was funny this week they asked Judon about, what do you feel about, do you have to play harder? He's like, I don't know, man.
Whose voice was that?
I don't know. I
just
hey, who is this football? Some old man was asking a question apparently. I don't know, just channeled Grandpa for that one. But he was like, I play defense. I don't know. I don't really think about it.
Stan Gusfield, AARP Sports.
I think the defense is definitely under more pressure to do well today just because they obviously have 2 people out, but they don't have as big of an excuse. But I'm also concerned with if the offense really, really struggles today, that's going to put the defense on the field the entire game, and they're going to be gassed.
Yeah, and at that point, you're probably looking at, like you said, Marcus Jones, getting these rookies, Sean Wade. I mean, there's going to be some new guys, some new faces playing in the secondary today in this game against, how do the matchups go when you get, Jack Jones or Marcus Jones lined up on somebody like Cobb, who's a little bit savvy. I mean, you'll learn some things. I mean, as much as you hate having these vets out, you kind of get a little bit intrigued to have some of these younger players actually get a chance and, maybe make some plays.
Also, I will bring this up because it's been too much of a pattern the past couple of weeks. There cannot be any muff punts today on special teams. That just cannot happen.
There's no muffs.
Because
no muffs allowed.
They've been lucky the past 2 games that, Miles Bryant haven't lost the fumble, but
Yeah, and
you can't do that again.
No, and eventually he's going to lose one of those fumbles, and that was my key for today. You can't turn the ball over not once. Not once. Nope.
No
you
muffs.
can't do it. If you want to win this game today, you can't turn the ball over at all.
It's been lucky. The first time was a touchback. They ruled it a touchback. The second one he was able to get, but you're not going to be lucky every time.
This Pittsburgh thing's already lining up exactly to what I thought it would be, that the Patriots are going to beat the Trubisky Steelers.
Oh,
and the Lions get in again
no,
for 2.
So they
penalty?
There must have been a penalty
on the
because
previous 2-point try that Jared Goff got laid out.
Jared Goff got laid out like back at the 30.
Roughing the passer,
it was,
perhaps?
I don't know what it was, but they got in the second time. So now it's a one-score game, Tamara. One-score game there against the Chicken Hawks of Seattle.
A lot of time left.
Oh, and Rex Burkhead getting in for the Texans. But just to finish my point, though, I
1,000 pardons.
You know what you're going to hear all year is, well, they beat the Steelers. Yeah, the Trubisky Steelers. That was before they put Kenny Pickett in, and they really started to play good. If they had to play Pickett, they would have lost that one.
Kenny Pickett.
Paul's going to take that from me.
Been
Stan
waiting
Grossman
for him to
again.
get in.
Stan Grossman.
Kenny Pickett. I've been waiting for him to get in.
Kenny Two Gloves. Really bugs me.
Let's talk to Michelle in South Carolina.
Yeah,
this is going to brighten my day, and I'm not having a bad day, but this will make it better. Hi, Michelle.
Coming in hot?
Howdy.
Hi. How are you?
How are you, my friend?
I'm all right. You avoid the hurricane?
We did. My house got a little bit. We got a lot of crap around my pool, my boat.
Okay.
I'm doing a lot of work before the Pats game.
All right, good. Well, take a break, watch the Pats. You got another hour or so. What do you got on the game today? What do you think?
Well, I think you're gonna laugh at me. I think they might win today.
I'm just laughing at your laugh. Tell me how they win today, Michelle.
Okay, but by Tamara's point, I agree with her 100%. I am so tired of seeing the defense do its job, and the friggin' offense can't score a friggin' point off of it. It pisses me off.
Okay.
So today, I believe they will use their tight ends today. I believe that because I've been waiting for it. I think we're going to run a lot, but I think Hoyer has a better arm than Mac Joe. I'm not saying he's a better quarterback, but I think he has a better arm, and I think he can throw it. I think he can throw it harder and farther.
Okay. So, Michelle, and I'm going to hang up on you, just so you know.
No, you're not.
Yep, I really am. I love you, but we're going to end it.
What was that?
And thank you for the call.
Click.
I'm going to hear it now. I'm going to hear it
she's
from
going to give you
Michelle.
the business.
She's going to give me the business.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think there's anything wrong with Hoyer's arm.
No.
In terms of strength, and he's got plenty of zip on it and stuff. It's just going to be reps, starts. He hasn't had as much chance to play here last couple of years, so that's going to be an issue for him. Arm strength, that's not it. What I will maybe default to is Michelle's hope is that they incorporate the tight ends today, and maybe that does something that we haven't seen from this offense through 3 games, and maybe that's enough to give them that push over the top and get them to 14 points. And if you hold Green Bay to 13, boom, there you go. You win the game. That's it.
We did it.
It doesn't have to be a lot if the defense has an outstanding game today.
Yeah, it's just interesting in retrospect, like how little work he kind of got this summer. I mean, it just seemed like his reps were usually just kind of an afterthought. Like he would get a little middle interstitial set of reps, Hoyer. Like you get a bunch of, you get Mac, and then you get like a couple for Hoyer, and then it was mostly Zappy the rest of the way. It's just interesting how they divided it up, this summer through all the practices. You just didn't see a lot of them.
It was kind of different. I think Mike is right. Usually you see the number 2 guy, just sort of clearly be the number 2 guy and get the reps. But there was first he missed a handful of days for an unknown reason. The first 4, like maybe the first 4 or 5 of the first 6 or 7 days of camp, he wasn't out there, right? Yep. And Bailey Zappi got all kinds of reps. And then when he came back, it was sort of one day he would get all clearly the number 2 reps. And as camp wound down, Carolina was here, and he was getting a lot of the, when they would do 2-minute drills at the end of the half, he would get the second one, So there were days that he didn't do a whole lot. Then there were other days where he did a ton. So it was kind of odd. Now, I do think, and Mike and I joke around about this all the time, there were times we looked at each other during the summer, whether we're on the practice field or in preseason games, like it kind of looks better when Hoyer's out there. So I'm not telling you he's better than Mac Jones. He's not. Mac Jones is clearly the best option at quarterback for that team. But I think sometimes with a veteran with some experience, maybe there's a little bit less pressing than you saw with Mac Jones, and maybe there's some things that can look good. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if he can do it with any kind of consistency and avoid the mistakes that derailed him in Kansas City the last time he started.
I mean, I just think it's an interesting contrast of, you talk about new offense and the changes, and they downplayed it this week. But, I think that was early in camp. You saw a lot of inconsistency from the Mac-led first offense. They'd have a couple good plays. They'd have a couple bad plays. And Hoyer would get out, and he'd only maybe get 6-7 reps, but they generally look pretty good. So, how did it look with him? He's been around for a while. He's seen different offenses. He has 12, 13 years of experience. So, that's one reason why I'm just at least I'm not I can't wait to watch the backup quarterback play for the Patriots. But I'm at least interested from just a compare and contrast kind of how does he process the offense?
Yeah.
Is he pushing the ball down the field to Devontae Parker every chance he get, or is he kind of taking underneath stuff and we'll say, maybe when Matt gets back, these are some things that we can incorporate where. Look at how much more advantage he's taken of the underneath stuff like, Mac did last year.
That's kind of my wish list. Like somehow they decide in game planning this week, it's like, Brian could really use the assistance of Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith today and incorporate some tight end play. I have no idea if that makes sense.
I do. I think tight ends and running backs. I think tight ends especially. I could see him throwing the ball 5 or 6 times to Hunter Henry today. And we haven't really seen, him be involved.
That's great.
I think that with the backup quarterback, those make sense. Those kinds of easy,
the safety, easy,
easy throws,
yep.
keep it out of harm's way.
I don't know if you're in the room or not, Paul, because I know you had to step out for the Sports Hub thing. But Jose in Texas, I think, was the one who asked about Lamar Jackson, how the Patriots defense did against him last week, and he's like, well, they put more points on the board today, so maybe that's indicative. I mentioned a play that we can look at right now.
More points on the board today than what?
In the first half.
Well, he said 20, but they're still stuck at 20, and they're getting down to the third,
and
they're
that
tied.
and that was with all turnovers for Buffalo in the first half.
Look at this play where he avoids that sack, and then off the back foot, that's 30 yards downfield, and his receivers bail. But
this is how they did it.
Look at this.
This is ridiculous.
He's down. I would have whistled the play dead.
You guys know that I watch a lot of Red Zone. I've been watching a lot of the plays in that game. Buffalo's entire defense is out to start with anyway, and they're still containing him. And now, the weather is part of this, too. The weather is awful along most of the East Coast today.
How is he
but
still up?
He's an amazing player.
He's
an amazing individual
player. And they're all tied up 2020.
Yeah, and it's been slowly but surely Buffalo is crept its way back into that game. But Buffalo's going to need to get healthy if they're going to be a true Super Bowl contender, because they're just missing too many players to – you can't just, lose everybody and just say, well, as long as Josh Allen's out there. First of all, Josh Allen eventually is going to get hurt, too, the way he plays. He's had a number of those runs again today, Deuce, where Nick Chubb going to the end zone. This is a big fantasy day for Paulie. So, the Buffalo thing, and I know that's of interest to, Patriots fans. It's still early in the season. We're still talking about the AFC East. We shouldn't dismiss the AFC East, right? You got a loss from Miami the other night. Be nice to get Buffalo at 2-2, because I'll tell you, this is a swing game for Buffalo. And
especially AFC seeding,
Well, here's the thing. Patriots started off three road games in 4 weeks, right? So did Buffalo. If Buffalo ends up coming out of that 3-1 and you come out of it 1-3,
yeah, well,
that's tough. And the teams that they played the Rams, they played at Miami just like you did, and then at Baltimore. You played Baltimore at home, so that's a tough schedule to start. If they come out of that 3-1, chances are, like you, they have some easier games coming up too.
We're going to get to more of your calls and emails and the over-unders here in just a moment. We want to thank Bridgestone, official tire of the New England Patriots, proud to partner with Sullivan Tire, New England's headquarters for quality Bridgestone tires. Visit sullivantire.com to find a location near you.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS, only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots. Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Palpable buzz.
Way to bring the energy, everybody.
Palpable
this
buzz.
is why people tune in. This is it.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Hey, Pats fans. I'm here to tell you about NFL All Day. With NFL All Day, all your favorite Patriots highlights become digital video collectibles called Moments. Not only can you buy and sell them on a secure marketplace full of thousands of NFL fans, you can also use them to compete in epic game day challenges. Check it out and find some moments from all your favorite Pats players on NFLAllDay.com.
You're a professional. Fred's read that read a couple times, and I still was trying to figure out what it was.
That's
but now I get it because you
stinks.
got it.
The boss is no good at this. You know who is?
Who?
This guy.
2 thumbs and a 98.5 sweatshirt.
He might be listening. I better walk that back a tiny bit. Fred, you're great. All right, let's get back to it. Yes, Paul, you have something.
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. Want to talk to Brandon in Atlanta?
Brandon.
855-PATS-500. Plenty of time to join us
Atlanta
here.
talk today.
Yeah, that's good. I love Atlanta. What do you got for us, Brandon?
Well, how you doing? I just wanted to, see if I can reverse our luck and call in on the pregame show. I usually call in on the postgame show, and that hasn't gone well as of late. But
preemptive strike, I like it.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, all right.
So but like today's game is kind of weird because obviously Hoyer's starting, and I'm not really going to harp on that. I'm not really confident we're going to win, but hey, maybe the rushing game and he can be a game manager. That's we'll see. But my main thing that I was calling in about was that just like I was just thinking about it all week, and it's like this is like uncharted territory for Pats Nation. It's like it's scary hours really, because it's like we got Hoyer for the next few games, however many games, and even when Matt comes back, he hasn't been making good decisions, and it's been the whole team's been making a lot of mental mistakes, and it's just weird because during the Brady era, we had a 10-year drought with no Super Bowls, but we were always in it. We had a 14-2 Brady MVP season. We had 2 fluke losses in the Super Bowl to the Giants, but like this time it's like Belichick's not getting any older. He's in his 70s, and it's just weird because it's not you don't know what's going to happen. Like obviously Brady's like generational. You'll never have another Brady, but and then on top of that, we got the whole factor that the Bills and the Dolphins don't suck. Like they're better than us, so it's just like
all I know. Look, Brandon, I get it. It's cats and dogs living together. There's a lot of stuff going on, and thank you for the preemptive call. Appreciate it. But you're going to have to wrap your head around this eventually. Things have changed around here. And quite frankly, I have to say, in some ways, it is more compelling week to week. You get to experience what I think the rest of the NFL has had a chance to experience now for a couple of decades. And I'm not saying that you took it for granted, but I'm saying this is kind of how it's supposed to be. You win some games you shouldn't. You lose some games that you shouldn't. Whatever. The back and forth of it is what makes it. It's different. I'm not saying it's better. I'm not saying you're going to like it more, but I think it has the chance to be more interesting. And if you're a football fan, this is okay. Well, some growing pains, some changes, figuring things out and not just being able to rely on the greatest quarterback of all time to get you to 12, 13 wins every season.
Yeah. It's, I think for me, I want to see them get to the point where they can beat good teams again. And that's just kind of where I'm at right now. It just doesn't really feel like, and now everything's on pause with Mac being hurt. But I just think it's been a while since you felt like they could go toe-to-toe with these best teams. And they almost did last week, but then they killed themselves. So, I do try to look at this team through the lens of they're a young team in terms of the quarterback being a second-year guy, and they're, trying to build around him. So in that perspective, maybe the inconsistency isn't totally unexpected, but I do find it ironic that, you dominated Buffalo so hard for like the chunk of that Brady, dynasty, whatever it was, 17, 18 years before, 2019 when Josh Allen got there. And now, now you're looking at the Bills kind of the same way. I'm sure the Bills looked at the Patriots where, man, maybe we could just once kind of get in it with them. And, they got that game in whatever it was, like 2011 with Fitzpatrick, but that was kind of it. Even when they played well, they'd always seem to fall short at the end, couldn't quite get over the hump. And that's just what I want to see from this Patriots team. Start to get over the hump against the good teams and, have some confidence going against teams like that. Because right now it feels like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like they have that team yet.
Yeah. Getting our first pictures today, Hardy.
We are. Our guest from behind the enemy lines
Hardy,
was not lying.
Your team is just maddening. They are like 3rd and 16. They just let a guy rush for a touchdown.
Okay. Well, you know what? There's a lot of time left. It's fine. We're not even in the fourth quarter. Don't worry about it. 14 points.
But it was jarring to me when we saw Ramondre Stevenson, in all seriousness. It's like sun-splashed Lambeau Field. Every game we're watching on –
rainy, gross.
Yeah, it's either disgusting or in a dome. And then you see the sun. I think that's like the only game the sun is shining.
It's gorgeous.
Lambeau Field.
Pete Dougherty, again, from the Green Bay Press-Gazette, not of Atkinson Resort and Country Club. Beautiful Atkinson, New Hampshire. Gorgeous practice facility as well. He told us it was 60 and sunny there, and it looks like
60 and sunny, even for Brian Hoyer.
There he is.
Great day for football in Green Bay.
Axel Hoyer, did you guys have any fun with the Axel on your station there, Hardy?
A little bit. How much fun can you have?
Not much.
I had more fun with Zappy. Look at Zappy. There were people who were calling for Zappy this week. Why don't we just put Zappy in?
See, and that's what I'm talking about. Just because people, and it was absolutely a groundswell, just because people are saying doesn't mean you have to jump on the bandwagon. Anyway, it's nice to see, as I said, the sun-splashed field at Lambeau Field. So we're going to use this opportunity to talk about our key data point presented by Demand Science. Patriots, Green Bay. What do you think of when you think of Patriots in Green Bay? First thing that comes to mind, Deuce.
Well, 2014 was the last loss that they had there that spurred the team on to championship.
You really are a negative sort, aren't you?
No,
that's what you think.
That was the first thing.
I think of Dan Conley's like 80-yard kickoff return in that game. That was just unbelievable. But what I think of is this, and it's since Robert Kraft bought the New England Patriots in 1994, the Patriots are number 1 in the league, and the Packers are number 2 in the league in terms of, I don't know, record wins.
Okay.
That's what it's all about.
Patriots in that time are 342 and 158 for a 683 winning percentage, while the Packers are second, 312, 179 and 2.
What's that percent?
635.
Wow.
So that's 1 and 2 in the league since Robert Kraft entered the National Football League in 1994, and that is today's key data point presented by Demand Science.
You crunched those numbers yourself?
No, I got it out of the release. What do you think?
Oh, okay. All right. Again, gives you kind of reinforcement that it's like, hey, Pats, Packers, this is a big game. It is a big game. You're talking about the 2 best teams in the league, for 25 years.
It's Pittsburgh, it's the Colts, it's maybe Denver a little bit. It's the Patriots and Green Bay, teams that are almost always relevant.
Yes. Yes.
Long-term success at quarterback, I think, would be the big piece. Maybe
Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers probably allows you to be second best in the league in record behind Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And neither guy very likable. It's weird. That's
Favre.
The heel turn.
It's getting worse for Favre.
Oh my! Well, he just. And I guess the change for me is more obvious for Favre, because how could you not like Brett Favre to some extent while he was playing? I mean, he's the gunslinger. He's out there. He's doing crazy things. You can kind of relate to that.
Yeah. I was out at Copperfit. Once the Copperfit thing started, I'm like, no, that's not for
But
me.
the money that maybe is supposed to be for the people instead going to a volleyball facility, that doesn't sit right. Nobody can get behind that.
And I think there was also stuff with his own foundation, funds used from his foundation that were odd. Wow, the Chargers are really just in a mess. Chargers had a 27-7 lead in Houston. Oh, looks like they're going to. Well, as I say it, there's the loose ball on the field.
They're going to Keystone Cop that
bunch
fumble.
of people chasing it, but Houston has crawled within 27-21. It was just a strip sack. Looks like Houston has it back. Houston's at like the 20, with a chance to take the lead here after being down 27-7 to the Chargers.
I just don't get the Chargers. I know they've had some significant injuries this week.
I know they're a mess physically, but you'd like to think a 27-7 lead, regardless of your personnel, should be safe, right?
Well, let me tell you a story about Super Bowl where there was a team up 28-3, Paul. I don't know if you know this one, Mr. Stat.
Yeah,
Not sure I ever heard
been
that.
there, done
Kenny
that.
Pickett
Got the T-shirt.
2 rushing touchdowns for Kenny Pickett in his relief appearance from Trubisky.
Yep.
Well, looks like Pittsburgh's going to survive that game.
Looks like Trubisky will never play again.
It's kind of looking that way. Well, they seem to appreciate his efforts in Pittsburgh. Let's see if I can appreciate your selections and the over-unders. I don't know. I tried.
It's good. I got it.
It's time for this week's edition of Over-Unders.
You're over me? When were you under me?
What happened last week, and where do we stand on the season?
Everybody went 4-2 last week, so that brings the season totals to Hardy 12-6, Mike and Paul 10-8.
Wow.
Good job, Hardy.
Thank you. I'm doing what I can.
That was an actual good job.
Yes.
Usually, whenever the calls get
when he
dropped,
hangs up
good
on
job,
somebody.
Hardy,
Good job, Hardy.
Yeah, exactly.
Usually derogative, but
all right. So, same order, same everything. Feel free to you guys pick however you want.
Okay.
If you just want to pick to try and catch me, I understand it. I'm not going to hate you for it.
Okay.
Axel Hoyer passing yards 189.5.
I'm going to go over on this one. Why not? Maybe not much over, but I'm going to go over.
I will take the under.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a fair number of pass attempts. We did that one earlier at 23.5 just for funsies. That doesn't count toward the number, but I just don't know. I'm hoping for a lot of completed passes to the tight ends for 6-7 yards. It's going to be tough to get to 190 that way. So Paul and I are both going under.
Ramondre Stevenson rushing yards 44.5.
I like the over on this one. I'm going to play the numbers, and I know that the Packers have made a lot of comments about not necessarily being bad against the run, but more circumstantial. Like Chicago was down big and just run the ball every play in a game that was out of hand. But I don't care. I want to see them stop Ramondre Stevenson before I predict that it will happen.
So you're going over?
Yes. Sorry. You're right. I didn't actually say over.
Yeah, I'm going over too. If I'm going under on the on the Axel passing yards.
I keep missing these by a half a yard.
I know. I'm with you guys. I'm going over. I thought Ramondre Stevenson looked great last week. Between him and Harris, I think it's a huge key if the Patriots want to, really make this a game and stick in there. I think those guys got to get running. I like Stevenson over 45.5.
Aaron Rodgers passing yards, 227.5.
I love that Duggar is back in the game today for the Patriots, but I don't think that's quite going to be enough. I think Rodgers gets over 227.5 over.
Yeah, I think he has to. That's a pretty low number. I think they can, they could still hold him under that or keep him over that and still win, I think, but that's a low one. I go over.
I'm going to take the over also.
I told you, you can take the under just to try
I
and
know,
catch
and
me.
I could make an argument, like, tactically why the under is the play, but I'm going to go over. I agree with you guys. I think the number's a little low.
Alan Lazard receiving yards, 36.5.
Lazard, kind of tough to project who's going to do what. I'm going to roll the dice and just I'm going to say under on Lazard.
Paulie Paul.
Well, if I took the over on Aaron Rodgers' passing, I'm going to have him throwing the ball to somebody, so I'll say over for Lazard at 36.5.5.
Watch,
I see my typo.
Watch this. I'll be a sport. I'll go under on Commandant Lazard.
Commandant.
Well, come on. It's a police academy reference, guy.
Oh, there you go.
Lazard,
I love it. Lazard.
right?
Lazard.
There are many, many reasons to pick the over. I will go under.
What's that actor's name? Great all-time guy. I forget.
Yeah, if anybody pulled the actor who played, he was also in Punky Brewster.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't
Popping
know.
up there.
I don't know.
Same
his name.
guy?
Mahoney? The Tackleberry?
Yeah, well, are we just going to start
I'm
naming
just naming them off
police
just
academy?
to let you know. I'm hip. I'm cool.
First R-rated movie I ever snuck into was Police Academy.
Oh, boy.
I bet you like
Got
the
a
guy
coverage
with
breakdown
the guy
in
with the
Cleveland.
sounds. The guy with the sounds. You seem like that.
Michael Winslow.
Michael Winslow.
That would have tickled your fancy. The beeps, and the creeps.
I'm sorry, what were we doing over-unders?
New England defensive sacks, 1.5.
Oh, that's you, Paul.
Just me. I'm going to take the over on this one. Aaron Rodgers tends to hold the ball a little bit, and I think he'll get sacked a couple of times as a result.
Yeah, I mean, just based on last week. Yeah, I'll go over.
Yeah, say it would be Christian Barmore. I think big game for him. I think he's got a couple.
All right.
And the total score at 39.5.
To me, this one's easy. This is just based on what I want to root for and what I'm going to pick in this. I'm going under.
I wasn't expecting that.
No.
I thought you always want to root for the over.
If I'm gambling like actual money, that's different.
I'm gonna go under too. I think it's close, but I don't think a lot of points on the board from these two teams.
Do it, Paul.
I am.
Do it.
I'll take the over.
Do it.
Nice. Because he's a sport. That's why. Well done. All right, there we go. Over-unders. In the book. Count it. Mark it down. Let's see if we have some more emails here. webradio@patriots.com if you'd like to contact the show via electronic mail and get in touch with us that way. Because I know a lot of people, they get nervous. They're talking to somebody like Paul Perillo, and they're like, oh, I don't want to screw it up.
You'd be surprised, Hardy. We ran into a fan this week at the Hall of Fame while we were shooting our TV show. He was very, very excited to see Paul. I don't know about me, but him.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. They clammed up.
I get that if I'm ever walking in public with Beetle or Zoe, because they're both very recognizable, and with Zoe, it's like a true love.
Well, Zoe is, yeah. I mean, no offense to Beetle, but when you walk anywhere with Zoe, it's like being with a beetle.
Yeah.
Right.
Around here.
That's a good point you bring up.
Well, people must hear.
I agree,
must
Zoe.
hear your voice. People must hear your voice, and then that kind of do a double take sometimes. I would imagine.
Every once in a while, there was a kid at the James White thing I was at 2 Saturdays ago, where he's like, I don't know. I said, here, you'll recognize my voice. The 99 Restaurants has 9 real-size entrees for just $9.99. And the kid goes, oh, yeah, I know you.
You're the guy who's on all those radio channels.
I didn't mean to have to throw that out there, but I will if I need to. Do you know who I am? The 99 Restaurants.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change. I want to get one
Time
more
and
email.
temperature.
Just one email quickly here, Maureen.
Said you were good. That was all.
Okay. Hey, guys, great show so far. I was wondering if you guys imagine a game plan that looks a lot like the Buffalo game plan last season at Buffalo.
No.
Well, let him finish.
No, I don't imagine that. That's all I'm saying.
Mike, this is Mike in Binghamton. He said that game we saw Stevenson face 9 to 10 man boxes, and he still managed to squeak free for 3 and 4 yard gains.
And 14 points.
Think there is a repeat in the cards. Is that enough to, dare I say, win?
Not unless there's some sort of gale force winds in Green Bay that we don't know about.
It looks pretty nice there today. I don't.
It does.
So.
No, they'll throw the ball a bit, but I mean I don't disagree with the base philosophy of we got to be able to run the ball, and I think you got to get some success on the ground with those two guys and get into manageable third down, location, the down and distance, and those things getting third and long with Hoyer. You want to try to make it easy on him. Run the ball.
I don't hate the question, Mike.
I don't hate the question either. I just don't think.
But you can't separate that. You can't separate that game from the conditions.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not like
I don't hate the question either. I just feel like I'd be very surprised if they treat Brian Hoyer like someone playing in conditions that you can't allow the ball to be thrown.
Right. And then what would it say about Hoyer? Like you
like,
got this
why is he
backup
here?
quarterback,
If I can't put him on the field, why and let him throw? Why is he here?
By the way, the Patriots pregame show here brought to you by the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism. Great memories are made in Massachusetts, no matter how you choose to make them. Indoors or outdoors, scenic views or city vibes, solo or family style, whatever moves you, whatever the season, plan your perfect Massachusetts getaway at visitma.com.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix eSports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots. Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
I'm waiting to open up my first beer.
Why are you waiting?
Yeah, it's
It's 11:51. I mean, that's tragic. What are you waiting for?
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Back on the Patriots pregame show, fueled by Dunkin. Thank you for being with us here. We also have Spee and Fresno checking in on email. telling us that Commandant Eric Lassard was played by George Gaines. I would have never come up with that.
Brewster. Now I remember.
Also, I missed the pregame social till now. Any references to Axel Foley yet?
Achwell. No.
I did a deep dive on that scene recently. Read about it online.
It was all ad-libbed, right?
Mostly ad-libbed, and I think Eddie Murphy didn't kind of like the. It almost seemed like they were making fun of a gay character, and Eddie Murphy's like, I don't like the tone of this very much. From Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy, the voice of reason.
Yeah, who had actually, has some real cringe-inducing stuff if you go back to Delirious.
Yeah.
So he and Bronson Pinchot, is that the actor's name?
Yeah.
They kind of made it more like a back and forth. It's like, I'm not going to be put off by his, implied sexuality here. And for that reason, you can still watch that scene today. You're like, oh, this is fun. This is funny.
Yeah, because I don't know what they changed from, but there's nothing to me that would even be borderline in that. I mean, it's just funny.
He's just being weird.
It's just funny.
Just being funny.
I just a quick point that I know Paul will like. Something to point out today. I think Jack Jones is going to start. A lot of chances for him. I wonder.
Have you seen something? We talked about that on the other show, and that would be my pick. Have you seen something to indicate that he's starting?
No, but I mean Mills is out.
Yeah.
So I would guess, but just what we've seen all summer, Paul, was.
I don't know if they would go with Bryant.
Perhaps,
just full time.
perhaps, but if he goes, I mean, I just think Aaron Rodgers is the kind of guy that has the deceptive ability to fire a ball in a small window, and that might be temptation for Jack Jones to jump something that he shouldn't jump, or perhaps he does get a jump on it. But he jumped balls all summer long. Couple worked out, couple didn't work out. So it's just something to watch, especially against Aaron Rodgers, who just is so kind of deceptive with his delivery and just his ability to throw a strike off of any platform or any kind of situation. So I would just say that's one thing for you to watch today. Throwing at Jack Jones, is he going to make an interception, or maybe just barely miss an interception that turns into a big play?
I'll tell you one thing that they were talking about on the other show in terms of the secondary is you better be ready to tackle today with those two running backs,
Sure.
Jones and especially Dillon. He's a load in the open field, and I know he's been slow getting started this season, but those guys will have to be ready to tackle today.
I'm thinking about this game all week, and I'm thinking about the possibility that the Patriots defense is able to hold and whether the Patriots score enough points today or not. If the Patriots defense goes out there and they limit what Aaron Rodgers is able to do, you're talking about building blocks for the rest of the season. You look at that and say, okay, Max back, couple few weeks, whatever, build on that, because that's something that I think is really, really going to be important if they are going to continue to kind of evolve this offense and work things out and bring Mac along, especially, the post ankle thing, whatever. Let it start today. Even if you're not able to capitalize on it, I mean, pick a number. If you can hold the Packers, I think, to 20 or under, that you got to look at that as like, and I'm not talking about a moral victory. I'm just talking about plan it out for the rest of the season. Look at what you're able to do there in that spot. You did your job. Forget about the win or the loss or something. Build on that. If they're able to do that today, I think that's big.
I love it, Hardy. I mean, and it goes back to my key, and I think it's where probably a lot of Patriot fans are right now, getting ready to watch this game and wondering, what can I take from this game that actually is going to matter in the big picture of things? And it's hard to do it on the offensive side of the ball, but I would say defensively, absolutely. And again, like, I don't think that this is like Aaron Rodgers at prime, functioning offense right now. This is an offense that, I mean, I think the Patriots should be able to slow down and should be able to hold, in kind of that 20-point range. So coming out of it, I agree. I would love to see it. Just a strong defensive performance. I don't know if they'll be able to put up enough points offensively to keep up even with this offense in its current state. But I do think that they need to be able to slow them down, to make some plays, and to, at least early to keep it close and, make it competitive.
Here's some other good news before we get to our Sunday six-pack. Scott Zolak says Aaron Rodgers has been putting on a warm-up clinic for the last 25 minutes. Good.
What, with just like kids or something? Like he's putting on a clinic? Or what?
Out there slinging all over the place. It's like being on the range before you tee off. You're wasting all your good shots.
Idiot.
He's holding the Aaron Rodgers football camp before practice, working with some kids that, flown in for
It's
it.
a clinic about how to warm up. Wow, what a boring
Don't you
clinic.
have to get ready for the game? What are you putting a clinic on right now for?
Awful. That sucks.
Couldn't do that on your own time.
Sunday six-pack. Let's do it.
This is the Sunday six-pack, so kick back and listen to my position. I'm itching to get the picks back. You better bring a big stack. I came to win it, yeah, this is the Sunday six-pack.
Wow, remix!
Remix!
Fresh
Loving it.
off the top.
Wow.
Love it.
Like the sirens.
All right, we got 6 minutes. 6 minutes, Dougie Fresh, you're on.
All right, let's not
I
even.
thought so.
Let's not even talk about last week's records. Let's just get right into it, guys.
Well, he was in my ear. He got 6 minutes, idiot.
I
Hurry
looked
up.
at the clock wrong, and then the person in my ear said, "Yeah, you're wrong."
Okay. All right. So
Wrong.
let's take our time. Let's really.
No, we don't have to.
No, for Paul's purposes, I think
he do good? Oh.
he did very well last week. What happened?
Paul 5-1, Hardy 3-3, Mike 0-6.
That's tough to do.
You sure about that? Did we flip those? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. None right. Zero
That's-
right. Thank you.
So of all the right ones, you didn't
were the
have any of
wrongest. I
them.
got none of them.
That brings us to the season totals of Paul 12-6, Hardy 8-10, Mike 5-13.
You got to start chasing,
The
dude.
hind.
In week 4, you need to
What's
start
the
chasing.
What's the teat that's in the back? The
hind
The
teat.
hind teat. That's
Hind
the one I
teat.
get. That's mine. That's my teat.
So in Baltimore, that game, which by the way, it looks like an absolute war. Baltimore and Buffalo. The Ravens went for a 4th and goal from about the 3 and threw a pick. Lamar Jackson did not see Devin Duvernay, who was wide open in the corner, threw late, and Poyer came over to make the pick. There's about 4 minutes left. Great game though. If anybody's still on their feet to finish this game, someone will win it.
might be getting OT there in Buffalo and in Baltimore. All right, let's go. What's our first game?
All right, so we actually only have a 5-pack this week, and starting with the 1-2 Arizona Cardinals at the 1-2 Carolina Panthers. Carolina -1.
Yeah, give me Arizona on this one. Thank you.
Hard to argue with that.
Yeah, I'm going to take Arizona too. I think I don't know. It's weird the spread being Carolina favored, but at some point the Cardinals are better than they've played.
McCaffrey
They've looked
banged up.
awful. I know they won a game, but they've looked awful. At some point they have to play better. I'll take the Cardinals.
Yeah, you got to give me a reason. You got to give me a reason.
Give me one reason.
And I don't have a reason. I'll take the Panthers.
The 2-1 Denver Broncos at the 0-3 Las Vegas Raiders. Vegas -2.5.
I'm going to take the Raiders.
Speaking of
teams that have to find a way to play better at some point. I mean, they easily could be 3-0. They've lost, I think, the 3 games by a combined 6 points or something like that. I'm going to take the Raiders to get their first win in the Josh McDaniels Bowl.
Well, here's my reason. I think the Broncos are just as bad, if not worse. Put it
their
this way.
offense is
I think
wretched.
I think the Broncos are worse than the Raiders. So a couple of 0-3 teams, someone's got to win it, and I think the Raiders can win this game.
You do know the Broncos are 2-1, right?
It's on the sheet in front of you.
The Broncos are 2-1.
Wow.
Oh, excuse me. I was looking at the wrong one. That's right. They lost to the Seahawks.
Yeah, they're terrible.
They
like
lost
their
to
offense,
the Seahawks.
yeah,
but
their offense is wretchedly bad, but they're
Right.
2-1 somehow. They won 11-10 last week.
Yeah. I was looking at the wrong
Not a
thing.
scorigami, by the way.
I still think the Broncos are just they're wretched.
Yeah.
I out of all the teams that I was thinking of, like, oh, new quarterback, new look, and an injection of life, it just hasn't culminated in anything yet. So, no, I think the Raiders can win this by a touchdown today.
Yeah, I think so too. Give me Las Vegas.
Sunday Night Football, the 2-1 Kansas City Chiefs at the 2-1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa -1.
Have you seen the heavy-handed promo for this one? I think it's Beck doing a version of the Neil Young song. Is that Beck?
Yeah, that's yeah.
I have
What are
not
they
seen
doing?
it.
I saw it. He's singing "Old Man."
Look at my life. I'm a lot like you were.
And it's like pictures of Tom Brady. Like, it's insulting.
So the reason that I have not seen that would be probably because I have no idea. Like I might have seen it and have no idea what you guys are
I don't
singing.
even know how I saw it.
But you guys
bad.
did that very well in harmony, and I assume that you gave
did.
a little
I get it on the high?
It was a
No.
little impersonation there,
Well,
though,
since
of
my
guess.
baby left me.
I found
a new place to dwell.
dwell.
Okay, so I'm
No.
going to take. I'm not up though.
No,
you're up.
And I think we were both singing melody, but thank you anyway.
There's nothing worse than a music snob, which you are.
That's right. That's right. I'll take the high harmony.
I'll take the Chiefs.
Yeah, I know Tampa Bay is getting some guys back, but I'm going to go with the Chefs as well.
I'm going to make it unanimous, which is kind of odd. At Tampa Bay, we're all on the Chiefs. Chiefs haven't looked great in the early going, but I'm going to take Kansas City.
Monday Night Football, the 2-1 Los Angeles Rams at the 1-2 San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco -1.
I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand how the 49ers are favored. I am taking the Rams.
I'm going to take the Rams too, but the Niners own the Rams, and I think that's why they're favored. Ooh, pick for the Jets. They have a chance. Ooh, and some late hit there by Pickens.
That's what he does.
I'm going to take the Rams as well. I'm with Mike.
Well, one of those Denver wins, even though I was insistent that they were 0-3, one of those Denver wins was against San Francisco last week.
11-10.
Garoppolo just looked, hapless.
Garoppolo.
So I don't get it either. I'll take the Rams. Across the board, we're going Rams.
And finally, the 1-2 New England Patriots at the 2-1 Green Bay Packers. Green Bay -9.5.
Yikes.
All right. This is me. I'm sorry.
Cool.
I was thinking.
That's right. It's only
I was
5.
thinking it was the last game, and it was Hardy. So, this spread I think is different than the one we used on the radio show. So with this spread, I'm going to take the Packers to cover. I think it's going to be a field goal filled game, and I'm going to say 26-16 Green Bay.
That's just a ton of points. I can't do it. I'll take the Pats. Give me the Patriots +9.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Patriots +9.5, but
Of course you are.
I think I do think Green Bay probably gets the win, low 20s to low teens, something like 23-14, something like that.
So was Neil Young not available to do the song himself? Maybe he doesn't care. Maybe he doesn't need the money. I don't think Beck does either. It was just weird.
I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Like, what are you trying to get across? Like, they're like, well,
I
he's
tell you
kind of
what they're
old.
trying
We
to
could
do.
use that Neil Young song.
I tell you what, they're trying to recapture the magic, and it was magical. The Adele promo that they ran for Bucks at Patriots last year. Do you remember that one? Hello?
It's me.
I do remember that one.
That was pretty good. And that was heavy-handed, but it worked. I hate to admit it, but it
won a
worked.
Super Bowl in Tampa. Would you like to see?
Yeah.
Something like that.
It was fine. This one, I don't know. I'm not buying it. Not buying it.
Nah.
All right. Any other final thoughts going into this game today? Honestly, there's been a lot of Brian Hoyer talk this week and how he, just, can't get it done. He can't do that. I will say this about Brian Hoyer. I think he's got the requisite skill set in terms of arm and the ability to read defenses and do all that. He just needs to limit the mistakes and some of the mental stuff that should be second nature to him by now. And if he can do that, he can more than manage the game. He can still play. He can still do enough to move the ball, help them score some points. It's going to come down to the defense, though, the Patriots' defense today, and whether or not they get this win.
Yeah, Hoyer, just don't be the reason they lose. And I think that was, what bugged people about the Kansas City game is, you keep a veteran quarterback as your backup. You just hope he can come in and hold the fort. Maybe he doesn't win you the game, but you hope that he can't lose you the game. So if as long as he plays steady and doesn't, give it away, I think it'll be close for a little while at least. I just think ultimately Green Bay is going to find a stride and get the extra points to pull away towards the end.
Yeah, I'm more worried about the other side of the ball with Aaron Rodgers. And I know I take a lot of shots at Aaron Rodgers, but I do respect the hell out of him as a player. I think he's been one of the greatest for a long time. I think, there's a lot of talk about how bad the Green Bay offense is, and I have too much respect for him to think that it will always be like that. So I have some concern there on that side of the ball.
Lions making it a game.
They always do.
Yeah.
You know what? You don't even need
What's
Stafford
gonna
in
happen,
there. Look at that. Again, 37 points they've put up.
They're close.
They scored a ton of points.
They've put up a ton of points.
And they've turned it over a few times. I know at least one of the touchdowns for Seattle was a pick six.
Fast and loose.
Their defense is wretchedly bad, though, Hardy. You would think a guy that wants to bite kneecaps would put together a better defense.
Well, they're not biting the kneecaps yet. They're still.
This guy keeps missing extra points, too.
They're within 3.
We got a ball game.
We got a ball game.
You know what? They keep the crowd into it. Say that about your Lions.
What are we doing here?
We're looking at Red Zone. We're looking at this game to start here in Green Bay in a few minutes. By the way, ever made a trip to Green Bay, Deuce?
No, I haven't.
Paul?
I have been to Green Bay, yes.
Is it everything that Bill Belichick would have us believe?
Well, I'm not necessarily into the same kind of stuff in terms of like nostalgia, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Like Lambeau Field was pretty cool to be there.
Did you get emotional walking in there?
No.
Okay.
I'm not.
I got emotional walking onto Augusta National. I
had a moment. You needed a moment.
I can understand that. Just like and I don't make fun of Felger for it because I know that means that kind of thing to him. Going to Lambeau, but no, to me it's a football game.
Yeah.
But it was cool. It was definitely one that I was looking forward to more than most.
Yeah. I'm sure it's a cool place. I hope it's a good game. We'll find out. We'll find out after kickoff.
Thanks, Troop.
Yeah, you're welcome. And then we're going to be here, of course, for the post-game show. We hope that you will join us then and call in and send your emails and all that stuff as the Patriots get ready to visit the Green Bay Packers here just a few minutes away. To everybody involved in the show, thank you so much for all your hard work. And to you, listening and watching, thank you for listening and watching.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.